The devastation brought on by natural disasters and political turmoil often leaves deep scars, both physically and emotionally, on affected populations. Comparing two seemingly unrelated events, such as the devastation caused by a hurricane in North Carolina and the violence in the Middle East, highlights shared human suffering, but also underscores the differences in context, response, and the politics surrounding them. In North Carolina, Hurricane Helene left countless people without homes, access to basic necessities, or hope for a swift recovery. The images of destruction, splintered homes, flooded streets, and displaced families told the story of another American community at the mercy of a natural calamity. As in many disasters before, the victims faced an uncertain future, reliant on government assistance, local efforts, and charitable organizations to rebuild their lives. Many criticized the Biden administration for an insufficient and sluggish response to these crises, pointing to the bureaucracy and delayed aid that exacerbated the suffering of those most in need. On the other side of the world, the violence stemming from conflict between Israel and its neighbors, particularly Lebanon and the broader Middle East, presents a different form of devastation. It is rooted in a history of geopolitical conflict, territorial disputes, and religious significance that has made the region one of the most volatile on the planet. The human toll of these conflicts, displaced families, lives lost, and entire cities in ruin, evokes a similar kind of suffering as in North Carolina, but with deeper and more complex political ramifications. The commonality between these two scenarios lies in the human experience of displacement, loss, and desperation. Whether people are fleeing from floodwaters in the United States or missiles and airstrikes in the Middle East, the pain and uncertainty are shared. Yet, yes, the response from global and national leaders often feels inadequate, driven by political considerations and the complexity of addressing crises that span both domestic and foreign policy. Critics argue that the Biden administration, like many before it, has fallen short in its response to both situations. Domestically, there is a perception that the government has not done enough to mitigate the impact of climate change and the natural disasters it exacerbates. Internationally, the administration faces accusations of indifference or bias in its handling of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and the broader instability in the Middle East. For some, the Biden administration's actions, or lack thereof, reflect a broader failure to prioritize humanitarian needs over political calculations. This perceived indifference is compounded by the media's coverage, which often skews the narrative depending on the issue at hand. Reports from North Carolina detailing the despair of hurricane survivors may not receive the same global attention as the decades-old conflict in the Middle East. Similarly, the pain of displaced families in the Levant may feel distant to those in the US dealing with their own local crises. At the heart of these issues is the idea that people, regardless of race, nationality, or religion, share a common humanity. The struggles of those in North Carolina and the Middle East may differ in cause, but the consequences, displacement, loss, and trauma, are tragically similar. Whether through hurricanes or war, people are forced to rebuild their lives with little certainty of when relief will come. The critique of the Biden administration is also a broader critique of the international system's failure to effectively address the global crises of our time. Natural disasters worsened by climate change, unending wars, and the displacement of millions. It is not just a matter of US policy, it reflects the global community's inability to prioritize human suffering over political gains. The idea that no one will talk about Helene or any other natural calamity hitting America while focusing on geopolitical conflicts like Israel's highlights the tension between local and international priorities. For some, the focus on Israel, a nation steeped in biblical history and global significance, serves political and cultural narratives that eclipse more localized crises. In this view, the US government's relationship with Israel becomes a symbol of broader political biases that ignore suffering elsewhere. Ultimately, both North Carolina and the Middle East serve as reminders that human suffering transcends borders. Whether from hurricanes or war, people are left vulnerable, looking to leaders for aid and relief. The failure to adequately address these crises is not only a political shortfall, but a moral one. an indifference to human suffering that leaves communities shattered and trust in leadership eroded.